if you had to go into the TV and join a family of your choosing, whose family would you choose?
Jossie, I think you're supposed to go
No,
first.
it's Peter's turn.
I would join the Hill family from King of the Hill.
Okay, I haven't seen that show very much.
Very stable.
Damn it, Bobby.
Very, oh, damn it, Dale.
Very stable.
Very, very stable. Very, I think Peggy and I would get along.
Who's Peggy?
Peggy Hill.
Is she the mom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Would that be your mom, or do you want to come in as like an uncle?
The dad.
I want to be a kid
Okay.
in that family with strict rules and encouragement from my dad to play sports.
I like it. It sounds like
really
you just
sweet.
want to be in your own family.
Yeah, like okay, it sounds like you already grew up there. Leave it to Beaver family.
Oh, was that what your answer is going to be? You want to be in the Cleavers?
No,
Why not?
I heard you grew up in the Cleavers.
Me?
No, I want to be. Let's see. What are you gonna be?
I told you weren't going to pick.
I
Yeah.
want to be part of the Dunphy family.
The Dunphy. That's like
From Modern Family.
That's the best family.
I like Phil. Phil is like my favorite character.
He drives me crazy. How in the world?
Yeah, I don't
Does
know
he
how
keep
you'd
a
be
wife?
married to him. But like as a dad, be fun.
Yeah.
Also,
he's a
Claire reminds me of my mom.
Really?
So I just like that family. They're fun. Also, then you'd have Jay as your grandpa.
You could watch Jay Talks.
Having Jay's your grandpa would be a little bit like my grandpa.
He would
I
dress
was
up
like
as...
afraid of him a
He's
little bit.
married to like a young Colombian woman.
No, my grandpa. Not like.
Good for Grandpa.
No, but my grandpa did not allow any dicking around, and
Oh,
Jay also does not
yeah.
allow that.
Yeah, he dresses up as Jesus Christ.
By season 7,
Okay, fine. He loosens up after a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
while. All right.
when Americans were like, I'd like the show, but that alpha dad is a little too much for me.
I like this show, but I'd like them to lighten up on Cam and
Yeah, that
Mitch
guy-
a little
For
bit.
being gay.
The grandpa could be nicer to the gay family and the foreigners.
That
That'd
would be
great.
great.
That would be wonderful. We'd appreciate that.
So, Jossie, you can't pick the Dunphys.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just going Tanners. I mean, I literally think I did grow up in that family.
He's like
I
the
was
best
like
dad ever.
Kimmy Gibbler.
You were a Kimmy
No,
Gibbler?
God, I hated Kimmy Gibbler.
I was like,
hold
man,
on.
Here's the
you
thing.
actually
Yes,
do
I was
kind of
Kimmy
remind me
Gibbler.
of
I was
Kimmy
100%
Gibbler.
Kimmy
You
Gibbler,
were-
but I hated her.
The personality of Kimmy Gibbler
Yeah.
is pretty close.
And the
It's-
boundaryless
but, like,
behavior.
Yeah.
But like Kimmy Gibbler is also like a very loyal friend.
There were a lot of good qualities to Kimmy Gibbler.
Yeah.
But I mostly hated her through the duration of that series.
So what part of the family do you want to be? A child?
I haven't decided. I think I'd be like the nanny so I could make out with Uncle Jesse.
I mean, me too, but, you know.
You also want to make out with Uncle Jesse?
Or
I'd
like-
actually
Well,
prefer-
if it's either him or Dave Cooley,
No,
I mean,
I
come
prefer
on.
I'm
Joey.
not trying to go to the Beach
Joey,
Boys.
you
show.
100%.
You prefer the guy with the puppet?
You thought Joey
Yes.
was cute?
Not cute.
That's
His
just who you prefer.
personality, cute. I love funny
He played
guys.
hockey.
Dave Coulier?
He was an out-of-work puppeteer.
He was funny.
No, he literally like played hockey.
He also
like he
is
would like
really
remember
good
how we
with
had
kids.
like Detroit Red
He had
Wings
Red
gear
Wings
in his,
stuff.
Oh,
in his
yeah.
room?
Even though they
then
lived in
But
California.
then him and Jesse started a jingle company.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's no way around. I'm top of the mount. I'm queen of the mountain. My cup running over. I already told ya. I'm moving fast. You live in the past.
What's up, Kimmy Gibbler?
I'm probably gonna spend like the rest of the day thinking of all the families I wanted to grow up.
Or thinking about how you just described yourself as the Kimmy Gibbler.
Has anyone ever told you you remind them of a TV character and it was like kind of offensive?
Not that I can think of.
Because I feel like Kimmy Gibbler, if someone told me I'd be like,
Rude.
thanks. Like I don't know how to take it. Someone told me have you ever seen The Middle?
Yes.
No.
Someone told me I remind them of Sue Heck. And I love Sue Heck, but she's like very, very awkward and like very awkward with her limbs. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but also like it's kind of
What are you trying to say?
I like how we lump all gangly people into
If
one category.
anyone wants to know who said that, it was Danny from the Boys Podcast.
Danny called
That
you
makes
Sue
it even
Hack
more
from the mill.
relevant.
You can go watch clips of her, and maybe you'll see the resemblance.
Maybe. For now, I'm going to talk a little bit of hockey before we go way out. We've been trying to do this for an hour.
Seriously, I can hardly even focus on our outline because
I know. Because
once
it's
we
in
get
such
these stupid
small print.
microphones in front of our mouth. We'll record next week for 45 minutes before we start recording, so you guys know what we're talking about.
It's going to go on our Patreon. You have to pay $9.99 a month to listen to the
Exclusive
45-minute
subscription.
bullshit session before we actually start recording. Jossie, let's get fired up here.
Yeah, totally. Welcome. Epi 7. We're flying along. We've got actual real hockey content this week. Some scores, results, P-dubs, international play.
You look just like Sue. It's very Kayla.
I thought that you were
very
going to
Kayla.
focus.
I'm focused. Yeah.
Just when I start getting focused,
and then he throws you
Sorry.
off track again.
Do you know,
Pete up.
like,
God.
it took me, I had to get my heart rate down. I had to get all ready for this. All right, P-dub. So this weekend we had the tournament at Big, the Gobbler.
Gobble, gobble.
And then the Cake Eater, which I was coaching, and don't tell Tony.
I'm pretty sure he knew
But
when you took off at least once a day.
But meanwhile, the P-dub, we were having our first home opener,
Yeah.
and you guys were there.
I was not there.
You weren't there.
I rushed
I was
home.
there.
I
It was
rushed home
very
and put it on
entertaining.
YouTube.
Also, for some reason in my mind, I keep thinking that we won the game.
I felt like it a
It
little
did.
bit.
It did feel like it.
Well, because they
were-
started the
They
game.
also had a lot more shots on goal too, so it like really felt like they were winning it.
And spoiler alert, we lost in overtime.
Yep, in 19 seconds into overtime.
Yeah, that was bad. I had barely gotten up and ran to the fridge for a LaCroix, and I came back and New York was celebrating. It's like, what is going on?
Meanwhile, I was in the stadium trying to run to the opposite side.
Oh,
and I
no.
missed because it was that quick. Like
Right.
I literally their intermission between
What is it, like
third
a
period and
minute?
overtime. It's pretty fast.
Dude, that's such a bummer.
I was like running. It doesn't really matter because it was on the opposite side of the ice anyways.
Yeah.
But
Well, it started with the banner raising. So now the X has its own championship banner, which is super exciting.
Damn right it does.
Speaking of which, though, I want to like touch on the Wild really quickly. They can send their thank yous to me anytime because I've been watching them for years and they've never been number one in the league. And then now that I can't figure out how to get FanDuel and I'm also in charge of watching 72 other hockey games a week, like for the first season and ever, I haven't really been focused on the Wild.
Okay.
And they're like the first team in the league. So they can
Oh, they
send,
are, aren't they?
They can send all their thank yous to me later.
I'm sure they'll get right on that.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching the Frost in their opening. We'll figure that out later. In its opening game, Sarah Fillier is ridiculous.
So
Oh
good.
my God, the saucer passes were insane. And Claire Thompson, Minnesota's first-round draft pick, also got a ton of time on the ice in the power play. She had a top 4 role. And I had a question for you, Jocelyn. Is it because the league only has 6 teams that high draft picks truly are the cream of the crop? I think about the NFL draft, and there are 32 teams. So by the time you get to the end of the first round, you're already choosing from, the 30th best player in the draft. But with the PWHL and only 6 teams, even if you're picking at the bottom of the first round, you're still getting one of the top 10 players. Is that why players like Claire Thompson and Sarah Fillier are able to contribute so early?
I just think because the timing's perfect for them. So they really, truly are some of the top players in the league. But right now, name recognition is going to be important to teams. So you're going to pull girls from the draft. You want them in your games, putting up points so you have a blurb to write about them behind their name. But yeah, these girls really are these influential girls. But then you see some of the women who didn't get on rosters last week that got cut. And they're also incredible hockey players. There's an entire pool of girls that don't have anywhere really to showcase their talent right now that are competitive enough to play on any of these teams. And with such small rosters and only 6 teams, just a smidgen of our talent pool are going to be able to be showcased in these games.
Pour one out for our cut homies on that one.
I know.
Cut day is no fun, no matter what the league is.
So banner raising, home opener, an OT loss to New York, although it was really exciting. that is our Frost results from last week. And then they play tonight at 7 Eastern in Boston against the Fleet. And they play on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern against Toronto at the Coca-Cola Coliseum. So one cool thing I saw from the first I think, 2 games were played so far from the league. And they're already seeing that no escape rule make an impact at the PWHL. So,
which I love.
This is the rule we told you that changed this year. This is the team that draws the penalty. The team that will be penalized cannot change players on the whistle at the delayed penalty whistle. So, the first player to capitalize on that is Hillary Knight. She scored just into a man advantage when who did the Boston Fleet play?
Montreal.
Montreal wasn't able to change their players, so they're already seeing that rule paying off. Another notable performance: Grace Zumwinkle scored 21 seconds into the game, which puts her in the history books for the fastest PWHL goal scored thus far. So,
dude, hell yeah, go Grace!
Congrats, Grace. And she actually made history last year in the home opener.
Of course she did. That's what
because
Grace
she
does.
Scored a hat trick. And now this year making history. So that's the first PWHL hat trick. And then this year, the fastest goal in PWHL history. So 2 home openers, 2 consecutive seasons, 2 records set, all by Grace Zumwinkle. Congrats.
Let's go. Boston played Toronto, by the way. It was not Montreal. I apologize, folks. We do strive for accuracy here on the Women's Pod.
We do. That's why we have our computers in front of us. But a couple other notables, Minnesota players around the league. Ottawa rookie Manon McMahon scored her first goal of the season. She's a Maple Grove native. Izzy Daniel, Toronto's 3rd-round draft pick, scores her first career PWHL goal. She's a Minneapolis native. Abby Barine, she's one of the league leaders right now in points early in the season, 2 points, Hill Murray. And if you recall, there was some hope that Abby Barine would stay here. Yeah, that she would be drafted by Minnesota, and she was not. So she's doing well in Montreal in spite of not exactly playing where all of her fans want her to play. And then finally, Gabby Rosenthal, New York's 4th-round draft pick from Blaine, Minnesota, scored her first PWHL goal. So congratulations, Gabby.
Allow me to wax poetic just for a second. So I started covering girls high school hockey in Minnesota the 2014-2015 season. So I got to cover Manon and Izzy and I believe Abby and Gabby when they were in high school, and to see them doing this on the biggest stage is such a heartwarming moment for me. There's no reason they should remember me running around with a camera and a laptop at rinks, but I remember watching them, and this is so freaking cool. I am so excited that they're getting their shot in the P-Dub and making it count too. Hello.
Yeah,
producing.
These are big games. Well, it's like I think they're getting our memo too. Like we've been razzing these teams for low scoring games, and people are scoring.
I want to give the PWHL credit here for manufacturing offense, but not at the expense of hockey's fabric. I think they're doing their best to make sure that the top players have a chance to score goals without changing the DNA.
And another example, Sarah Nurse, she's executing the jailbreak rule. So if a player scores shorthanded, then they jailbreak their teammate from the box. So Sarah Nurse scores shorthanded. Now they're not only not shorthanded, they've scored, and now they're full strength again.
That is such a great rule. I love that. I'm just gushing about the PWHL right now. But I think it's such a great rule because if you score down a player, should you not be rewarded for scoring a goal? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how I feel about that. Rewarded.
I love it.
Well,
I love it. I think the NHL should adopt
one
it.
way or another, the P-Dubs got to get just more scoring. People want to see scoring, and without hits, they need something that's going to draw fanfare. And so
I told them to selly more, and they sellied like 3 times. In the
so
Minnesota game.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to
see. You can do that. I can't tell a woman to smile more. That comes off shitty.
Smile more. Selly.
Shoot.
Like Kendall Coyne, she went down on a knee, she sellied, and then I got that screaming picture of she's new on the team. She scored her first goal for Minnesota.
I saw.
Oh, piss! Who was it?
Yeah, I know. Now I'm
I'm drawing a blank.
blanking.
I'm still thinking of that awesome photo you got of the young fan.
the child screaming.
Yeah, she was going
I love
nuts.
it. I
Oh,
love
yeah,
that.
That was so cool. We got to figure out a way to use
Dominique
that.
Petrie.
Petrie.
Yeah, she had a great screaming Sally.
Nice.
Sick. Keep
Well,
selling.
overall-
Keep selling.
overall-
and only it's for me because I get good pictures.
Smile more.
I push Sellies ever since like 8U. I'm teaching these kids about Sellies.
What was your go-to Sally as a player?
Oh, I see because I in the moment I just get so impulsive that I literally just pump my arms.
Really?
I could practice Sellies all day.
Ah.
And then I score. And there's this girl on my team. She's scoring like 4 or 5 goals a game. And every single time she scores, she just turns around in the slot and just does one of these.
Shrugs. Nice.
Like, we got to work on those Sellies.
All right, dude. D1.
Wait, I feel like there was one last thing I wanted to say, P-Dub.
We should just change the name of the show to One Last Thing. One more thing.
Yeah, more. You're probably not right, not wrong.
I'm always
If,
right,
look,
dog.
if I remember it, I'll just tell you guys.
The last thing I have on the little thing that you made, it says signings.
Oh yeah, no, there's none of that.
No, there's not. So the next page is results. D1.
All right, D1 results. If you tuned in to our episode last week, you know that there weren't a whole lot of teams playing. Some teams traveled. And so basically we're going to like call it shout out season because we've got a lot of people doing a lot of good things, but not a lot of specific games to touch on. Although I do want to note that St. Thomas went out east. They played Clarkson, who's ranked 6th, and went into overtime with them. I thought that was exciting. It looks like it was a real back and forth game. So like Clarkson scored twice in the first, and then UST came back and scored twice, and then Clarkson scores twice again, and then UST scores twice again, and it goes into overtime for that. But also Sajovic, Stensley, Lindsay, Berger, Kloff, all getting points in that game. So UST, again, in spite of adversity, have continued to show up at the rink. Then they take their second game of that weekend, 1-1 tie against 9th-ranked Penn State. So UST is not ranked, and they're out there giving hell to top 10 teams out east. So congratulations. And in that game, Kloff scores for UST, and the sole goal for Penn State's Maddie Christian. So
Oh, look at that.
Oh, and
Look
also the shootout game winner on Saturday is Caitlin Roberts.
Oh,
She's like one of my
okay.
favorites. I'm watching her all summer at the Sally League, and she's one of my favorites to watch from Penn State.
This is exactly what, I don't know about you, but it's exactly what I wanted to see from St. Thomas this year because they've been building toward this. And it's one thing to take a lower tier, sorry if that is feelings hurty, a lower tier D1 program like a Stonehill or Franklin Pierce to overtime. Now it's time for St. Thomas to step up and play with the big gals like Clarkson and Penn State. And the fact that they can take these two teams to an extra session and come within a goal of getting that win, their talent is there. And now it's starting to pay off.
Well, I'm seeing heart to it. It's like when you throw this kind of thing at this team, like what they're able to do with it. And then the way a team can manage and face adversity is just like one of these themes that I remember so specifically from Mark Johnson playing under him. It's just always like kind of taking that big adversity moment and just what do you do with it? How does the team react to that? So just 2 weeks or so post coach resigning, they've continued to just push. They played both MSU Wisconsin last weekend, and now this weekend out east. So we're going to keep an eye on UST. We'll probably keep talking about those women for sure.
Roll Toms.
All right. So to follow along or continue with our shout out season, Newha Player of the Month, Michaela Kelly from Franklin Pierce. Not surprising. She's an Egan native. We've been posting her weekend over weekend in the Summit scores. Honor roll for Rookie of the Month, Ella Holm from Moorhead, and Justice Olgren from Rogers. But also Ella Holm was a honor roll Newha Player of the Month last month as well.
Sick.
And then Players of the Week, Kate Helgeson from Sacred Heart. She's a Roseau native. And Goaltender of the Week, Lauren Larson from Sacred Heart. And she's a Dayton, Minnesota native. And Goaltender of the Week, Haley Hansen from Blaine in the WCHA, MSU. And then shout out to Chloe Boreen as a Rookie of the Week for the WCHA last week.
I'm looking at some of these numbers for Lauren Larson here. 70 saves in a 2-game stretch, taking on 2 nationally ranked teams during Sacred Heart's Nutmeg Classic. Seriously, Lauren Larson? What's up?
Yeah, she's been on my Summit shutouts, I think, as well. So that's sort of our results, our D1 results from last month, we'll say, as we sort of skipped over some D3 stuff, are still early in their season, but plenty of things to note now.
Yeah, and now we'll get back into the regular swing of things. We're past the Thanksgiving
Kind of
holiday.
yes.
We'll have maybe 2 or 3 weeks where the games will go back to normal with the weekend series, and then we'll break for Christmas, which will throw a whole nother wrench into the scheduling works. And then once we get past Christmas break, then we can get back into the home stretch.
Drives. So then results D3, again, more of a shout-out situation. So Mayak, Offensive Player of the Week goes to Lily Mortensen from Gustavus. We talked about her already on the show, but she's got 6 goals so far this season. She's tied for second in the Mayak. She's also up toward the top of the national list. But D3 stats leaders overall, as a goaltender, Kayla Simonson from Augsburg is right at the top of the list. And
the pride of Delano, Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesotans have 3 of the top 10 goaltenders in the country at D3. So Sarah Peterson at Bowdoin and Kendra Nordic at Hamlin are putting up numbers that are making those teams look competitive. So congratulations, you guys at D3 again. Lily Mortensen, Mayak Women's Offensive Player of the Week, and then 3 of the top 10 goaltending, goals against average scores for the week. Summit scores for the weekend, I think being that it's shout-out season, we could go through these really quickly, but we've noted a handful of these in our other game reviews. So Friday night, Sacred Heart, Alyssa Antonakis, Lily Barrett at St. Thomas, Danny Bergen at UMD, Maddie Christian and Maddie Clough, as I mentioned, PSU and UST. Lily Fetch at Maine, the sole goal against their weekend against Wisconsin. Kate Helgeson at Sacred Heart, Haley Eikos, Vermont, Janessa Gazdick at MSU, Taylor Otremba at MSU, and Sophie Robinson at UConn. Why don't you shout out our Saturday Summit scores?
Saturday Summit score there we have you score yours. Ella Onick from St. Cloud State University. Danny Birkin, a repeat from Friday. Minnesota Duluth. Ava Guillemette, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'll throw a little French on there. Guillemette at Minnesota State. Haley Hansen had a shutout, which puts her on the Summit scorer list for Minnesota State. Sadie Lindsay at St. Thomas, Olivia Mobley at UMD, Jamie Nelson at MSU, Allie Qualley, St. Cloud State, Lauren Stensley at St. Thomas, Whitney Tuttle, and Claire Vekic, both from Minnesota State. I also want to throw a couple of shout-outs to teams here. Minnesota State swept Dartmouth over the last weekend by scores of 4-0 and 3-2, and St. Mary's University won the Dubuque Holiday Tournament at the D3 level, beating Lake Forest 4-2, and the host Dubuque 5-3.
So that kind of brings us to polls. Polls dropped on this, I think, what did they come out Monday? USCHO?
Yeah.
The second. Like literally no changes at D1. So we're still looking at Wisconsin, Ohio State, Minnesota Duluth. And then we got these short names, C's, Colgate, Clarkson, Cornell right after that. St. Cloud's still sitting at 8. And then really almost no changes between 10 and 14 other than Yale moving in from not ranked to 14th.
Oh, welcome to the party, Bulldogs.
D3, again, also very, very few changes, but for basically a swap of Elmira and Augsburg, who continues to move up the rankings. So things look a lot like they did last week. UW River Falls at first. Oh, actually, Gustavus, I actually know about this because I'm talking about it later. Gustavus moved from 2nd to 5th.
Second to 5th.
A big drop for Gustavus, who's sat at 2nd this whole season so far. And Middlebury moves up 1 spot from...
Do you know if Middlebury comes to Minnesota at all this year?
Rarely. But we should look because I don't think historically that's a team that does...
I would love to see Middlebury take on a team. I want to know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, we'll just put it in the travel budget.
The 4-3 loss against UW Eau Claire is what dropped Gustavus from 2nd to 5th.
Good luck. Okay, so polls, and then we're looking at upcoming this week. Let's look at D1. So WCHA is pretty much what I'm looking at. Friday, Saturday series for all three of these. We've got Wisco taking on Mankato at Mankato.
Wisco.
That's Friday at 3 and Saturday at 2 Eastern. And then we've got, Central. We've got University of Minnesota taking on St. Thomas. That's a series I'm excited about. That's going to be at St. Thomas Friday night at 7 and Saturday night at 6.
So you're going to go on Saturday?
Yeah, because I'm working Friday. Well, I'm going to be in Mankato I'm going to be in Mankato on Sunday, actually.
Sounds like you just booked yourself Saturday night at 6.
Looks like I'm probably put it on my team calendar. Have my
You walked
15
into
youth
that
come.
one.
Actually, I got an email today from the ticket salesperson at UST begging my 15U BY team to come.
Yeah, right.
I'll show you it.
Yeah, show me the email.
Okay.
No, not right now.
No,
not right now.
Okay, UMD is going to play at St. Cloud this weekend.
That's
Friday
a good
at 3.
series, man.
It's 3 really good series. I'm excited to see because MSU has been having a couple good weekends. Wisconsin, I mean, they're going to sweep that series.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Sure about that?
You sure about that? Wisconsin's going to sweep that series. UMN, okay, Minnesota Gophers, Tommies.
Yeah.
I like that's going into overtime.
What would it do? Hear me out. What would it do for the Tommies to sweep the Gophers?
I don't know because I feel like we've all been talking about the Gophers situation. It's not like the Gophers are on their best run right now.
Okay, hold on. Define situation.
Just feels like we want them to have we want to be talking about them differently. Every time they come up, it's kind of like, you sure about that?
Kayla's losing it. Okay, I hear you. I guess I look at Minnesota 11-4-1 against one of the nation's toughest schedules. I guess I just don't see it as a situation the same way I see
that's
St.
fair.
Thomas as a situation where your head coach is no longer with the program.
Okay, that's super fair. Minnesota's not in a situation, so I don't want to stop acting like they are because it is the 7th episode that I've been kind of saying that.
You're pooping on the Gophers.
I know, and I don't
Pooping.
mean to. I don't mean to. I'm like a fan. I am a big fan of theirs, especially since Boom came in, and I've been becoming more friendly with Abby Murphy.
Gophers Badgers national title game. Who do you root for?
Badgers, 100% of the time.
Oh, so you're not a fan.
Okay, this is serious. When I was playing college hockey, they didn't have locker rooms. We didn't have locker rooms.
Okay.
Now they do. And one of the things they've built into these locker rooms are these big emblems in the center of the locker room.
You can't step on them.
There's a rule. It's an unspoken rule. If you haven't been in one of these locker rooms and that rule hasn't pertained to you and you go into a locker room, you might not know it. But if you played hockey 50 years ago, the girls on the team certainly wouldn't tell you either. They wouldn't be like, don't forget, you can't step on that. But I know somebody who...
Everybody turn and stare at Joss here.
I know somebody who stepped on the freaking logo in the women's locker room at the U.
You know someone who did or you did? You know someone who did or you did?
It's the same person
What?
who deleted all the emails.
You mean all the Dropbox files?
Sorry, the photos.
Jesse
So
has a
not-
habit of
So
making
at Combine Camp,
mistakes.
my foot got onto the M, okay?
Got onto it or you stepped on it?
On purpose or on accident?
It wasn't on purpose, and I didn't even know the unspoken rule. I mean, why would the thing's bigger than this table?
It's big.
How could you not step on that area of the locker room?
You use your feet and you walk around it.
I did the same thing in Lakeville South boys locker room. There's a cougar on the floor, and I didn't know it either. I feel like that's not common knowledge. Okay,
It's not.
I didn't.
But all
I
the
didn't
girls
live in a
on the
live in a
Gophers
locker
looked
room.
at me like I tried to sabotage them
Yeah, they'll
blatantly.
They'll yell at you,
And I'm starting to think
that it was your fault.
been something going there.
So it's your fault.
It's your fault. The Wild are number one, and it's your fault to go.
Tell you what, if it's a Wisconsin U of M, actually, this is what I told the girls. I said, "Oh my God, sorry," because they all know I was a Badger. They didn't question whether or not I would intentionally stepped on their freaking M or not,
Okay.
which I did not. But I said, "Oh God." You guys are probably going to have a bad year because of this until the finals. And then you'll probably beat Wisconsin in the championship. So if they play in the championship, I will cheer for them.
So you Not only did you nearly delete all of our photos out of our Dropbox, you stomped on the logo in the middle of the Gopher locker room.
Not to mention our Dropbox has about 80,000 files.
Jossie, you
10,000 of them are Gophers.
You are a walking Horcrux.
What is that? It sounds terrible.
You're a walking Horcrux.
What is that?
You are
Peter
disturbing
likes
the
to
energy.
reference Harry Potter as many times as he can.
Why does it have
I've only
to have
done
a
it
root word
once.
that sounds just like
Yeah, it does sound bad.
A Horcrux?
That's because she's really good at making words that sound bad.
Jossie is?
No, whatever name, J.K. Rowling.
the person with the
She's
the person that writes
she
the
came
books.
up with the word mudblood. You're telling me that's not like
Mudblood is
That's
such
a
a
bad
zing.
name.
It's such a zing.
that is a bad. It sounds inappropriate, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really
It
does.
sounds like
You know what
a
else?
slur.
Do you know what else sounds inappropriate? Stomping on a team's logo in the middle of their locker room.
We can cut this part out, right?
No, we're not cutting anything out.
All right,
This is the
listen.
best content.
If anybody knows the antidote to a badger stepping on a gopher M,
I'm pretty sure it's writing Peter a check for $10,000.
send it to us. Send it to me. We need to help these gophs so that they can sweep St. Thomas this weekend.
They're not going to invite you back to the Wisconsin alumni game.
No, I'll keep getting invited to that, but probably not going to get invited to combine camp. At least not into the locker room.
They have a voodoo doll of Jossie at
They're
the locker
like,
room.
yeah, seriously, that's probably why I'm sweating so
once
bad
a,
right now.
once a week, they stab it with little push pins.
Okay, sorry, Gophs.
Upcoming D3.
Upcoming D3.
What do we got, Jocelyn?
Here's the one game I'm super excited about that I also considered going to on Friday night.
Okay.
And that is Gustavus versus Augsburg. So Gustavus just moved down to fifth.
come
Augsburg's
on.
in sixth. It's at Augie Tech. Both teams have 12 points in the MIAC. They're both 4-0 in the MIAC.
It's at Augsburg.
You can't miss it. You cannot fucking miss it. Listen, Gustavus, 21 Minnesotans on their roster. Lily Mortenson's leading the team with 9 points, followed by Kylie Scott from Dayton with 6 points. So far, Gustavus has lost to River Falls and Eau Claire. So that's fair. That's
This is on Friday night.
it's on Friday night. And so they've played, their losses are to the top, 10 teams in the state. And they've played St. Olaf, who I've noted a couple times throughout the week, months, like they're playing tough. They're not ranked, but they're playing tough. And then Augsburg, 18 Minnesotans on their roster, led by Annika Milky from Waconia with 7 points and Nora Steppen from Eastview with 6 points. Of course, their goaltender, Kayla Simonson from Delano, is a freshman, and she's got 3 shutouts so far. It looks like Augsburg splits their goaltenders. Three games Kayla's played, and their second goaltender's played another 3. So Augsburg is undefeated, 6-0-1, and they tied River Falls. So Gustavus lost to River Falls. But their other 2 series are St. Scholastica and Concordia Moorhead. So,
Gotcha.
I feel like those are probably more expected wins. So, anyway, Gustavus probably had a tougher schedule, probably better on paper. But Augsburg's just been just consistently moving up the ranks week
This
over
is
week.
statement game time for Augsburg. Gustavus has been the
thing.
bully on the block
Yeah.
the past few years in MIAC hockey. This is Augsburg's chance.
Well, I'm excited to see how this game.
Are you going to go to that one?
I would like to go, but I'm trying to figure out. I want to get my 15 U's to either St. Thomas or Augsburg.
I think I'm going to go to this one.
How do you miss it? I mean, I think we should just.
I don't know.
divide and
Minneapolis is kind of a
conquer.
long drive.
Wait, no, I already found out I have to be in Woodbury to direct the band.
Oh, it's on Friday.
I'll let Tony know we won't make it to the UF Minnesota St.
Damn
Thomas game
it.
or this 5 or 6 matchup.
Maybe we just skip Friday night ice.
I don't. You think so?
No,
Sure about
no, I do not think so. I see some notes about Team USA here. April.
Wait a minute. We're not there yet.
We're not.
Just give me a second. All right.
I'm not as well versed in Google Docs as you. I'm an Apple
Right.
guy.
This is a presentation. But here's what I wanted to share. I pulled the stats leaders, so I want to shout out season to a couple of women at the D3 level.
Hell yeah.
Michaelin McGowan at Concordia, Wisconsin, from Simley, Minnesota, or Simley High School, excuse me, is tied for second in the nation at D3 in points with Megan Gaudreau from Centennial, who's playing for River Falls. They both have 18 points. At this stage of the season, that's a lot of freaking points.
That is a lot of freaking points.
So both tied second in the nation, D3 for points. But then in the top 20, top 30, tied for 11th, Reese Heitzman and McKenna Ora. They both have 12 points. Reese Heisman, St. Mary's, McKenna Ora, River Falls. And then Katie Bell and Allie Erlaub both tied with 10 points in the top 20 national scores at D3. So shout out to all of you guys. Keep up the good work.
Quick note on Michaelin McGowan. She started her high school career at Egan High School and totaled 9 points in 2 seasons. Not great, right? Transfers to Simley, has 23 points in 26 games as a junior. Still not, I mean, that's pedestrian, right? She jumps from 23 points to 72 as a senior, 53 assists. She had 19 points in 27 games last year with Concordia, Wisconsin. She's at 18 already, 11 games in. At what point, hear me out, at what point does Minnesota State University Mankato graduate a bunch of players and start looking at the transfer portal? Call me crazy.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't, but maybe she loves where she is.
She's on pace right now for over 40 points. She might love where she is right now, but if the D1 level comes a calling, I don't know how you say no to that. Sorry, Concordia, Wisconsin. I'm not trying to gut your lineup right now. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, I'd love to know, did she get this big jump when did she just get more playing time? Is that what did it?
I honestly have no idea.
Do you think she
I have no idea. We might have to make a
coach? We have to talk to her.
We might have to make a call.
Let's call her.
Concordia. Where is Concordia?
If anybody
University
has Michaelin McGowan's Instagram, tag us. We got a question for her.
We have several questions for her. She should probably just come in and do an interview.
Yeah, you'll see it.
Get a free Wednesday. Come on down.
You'll see us on caller ID. All right, now we can move on to international stage hockey.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, wait. Last thing I want to, as long as we're talking some results and stuff, I did want to know in other college hockey news. This was kind of a fun, feel-good story. The Badgers went out to Maine for the first time in 21 years. Last time the Badgers went to Maine, Molly Engstrom, who we talked about on the Biz Bauer episode, is coaching Maine, was on the Badgers roster. So 21 years ago, Molly Engstrom plays for the Badgers and plays at Maine, and now she's coaching Maine. And the Badgers came out, and there was this real fun reunion. I know the internet ate it the F up. The Badgers crushed Maine as expected, but then also that school is on the Badgers coaching staff is Jackie Friesen, who we called Friezoid. She was in our freshman class. So Engstrom, Friezoid, and myself.
Did she like that nickname?
Ottawa's Chargers head coach, Carla McLeod, was also in our freshman class.
Did she like being called Friezoid?
She loved being called Friezoid. She's like a pretty low key lady, and so I don't think she probably had a lot of nicknames. I also was the one that started calling her Friezoid. But anyway, so
that makes sense.
Super fun to see all that. But because I'm talking Maine, Wisconsin, I can't not note Lily Fetch, who scored the lone goal for Maine.
Yeah.
But other Minnesotans on the Maine roster, which is starting to get more players since Molly's been coaching, Danielle Burnett, who transferred from Duluth, Gracie Hansen from Lakeville, and Reagan Worm from Buffalo, who I have a family tie. I think my kids are her second cousin or something like that.
What? Gracie Hansen is also related to me.
Nice.
Wait, how?
She's my mom's cousin's kid.
Mom's cousin's kid.
Yeah, like that's how. So like, Reagan Worm is like my.
Are you guys related?
We're
These are two different
people
though.
Okay.
But like
I'm related to Gracie Hansen. Also, she's from Lakeville North, so that also makes sense.
Oh, that does make sense. I'm not related to Reagan Worm. My kids are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I hear what you're saying. I feel like you guys might be related.
We're actually sisters.
It's now become uncovered.
Your long lost sisters.
The one that didn't disown us.
Oh my God.
Let's see who was disowned.
Again, we should record earlier than
fun challenge.
Next time.
Just dropping bombs. I will say that Maine, I was born in 91, And obviously I couldn't read until I was 10. So when I first started getting into college hockey, it was the early 2000s, late 90s, when the University of Maine men's program was at its zenith, 42, 1-2, all that stuff. So I am a huge fan of the Maine program. I also think that Maine has the coolest color scheme, logo, and college hockey uniforms. So University of Maine, if you're feeling froggy, I got Christmas coming up.
Well, and also
All I'm saying is I'm available.
They are getting a brand new rink next year, like all new facilities.
The women's team.
Yes.
We're not getting rid of the...
No, the
Oh,
women, like
thank
Molly,
God. Okay.
Molly's pulling players out there, and she's getting teams to come see her. Like, she's doing a good job out there. I'm excited, but these girls, these Minnesota girls, I'm writing about them each week. They're scoring, they're doing their job. So
We are
to see.
huge Black Bear fans here.
we are. When I went out to Maine last year, we went and poked around.
You're obsessed with Molly Engstrom.
I am.
I'm
Have been
obsessed
since
with the late
freshman year of
Sean
college.
Walsh, R.I.P. We're big Maine fans here.
Yeah, well, we'll put it in the travel budget. Okay,
What's
now
next?
we can talk Team USA. First of all, this is urgent. This is really urgent. If you can go to the IAHF.com website,
That's what you want me to do?
yeah, we need to vote to name the Women's World's mascot.
Wait, what? Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I'm going to let you do this because I ain't dinking around with the IIHF website.
Well,
if it's
here-
anything like an IIHF tournament, there's 50,000 people involved and
Look,
no
to
stats.
me, it looks like you can just click here to vote for the mascot name. So
Okay, let's do it together.
So hold on. I'm going to go to
Youpie.
IIHF.com.
Elmo.
No. I'm going to go to the IIHF.
We're giving Kayla so much fat to trim off of this right now.
I don't trim the fat. The
You don't
fat is
trim the
what
fat.
gives it the
Fat's
flavor.
flavor.
That is flavor.
Well, we are definitely a Wagyu steak right now.
Okay, so I went to, because this is critical. The mascot can't not have a name.
The last mascot they had, or one of them in 2020, was Spiky the Hedgehog.
Spiky the Hedgehog.
Like, first and foremost, here are the options it looks like. Tori, the name Victoria means victory, which
How do you make that into a mascot?
Tori is reminiscent of the mythological Thor and the word torch.
Oh.
So the German word for Tor
Okay.
means goal. Okay, so Tori's like sounding pretty good. Alex, short for Alexander. There's some reasons why they think Alex might be
Like
good.
Alexander the Great.
Ava can mean bird.
Why are these all just names?
But look, you love the bird.
What?
Freedom, speed, and lightness.
In the Victoire thing.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
she's referencing.
All right,
I
so
thought she meant like the bird,
I just love giving people a bird.
okay, here's what we get. Can we promise, if I send you this link, can we promise to link the vote to our audio or like to our page? Because this is serious.
Yes.
They need everyone's
Why
vote.
is this so
They
serious?
need everyone's vote.
Why is this so serious?
People need to do their part.
I feel like all of these are just like human names, and it weirds me out.
Yeah, it's a little bit like naming your dog Steve.
Like, I'm not naming a mascot Alex. It's my brother's name.
Yeah, that's not mascot-y, but I kind of like Tori.
Tori. It's like Victory. It's the best one.
Okay, here's the thing. For some reason, I can't really find. Oh, I went to Team USA Hockey's website.
I have the vote for the mascot name page up.
Perfect.
Okay,
I can't
cool.
figure out how I found it, but I came
Cool.
across it, and it's critical.
Okay, I'll
It's
send you the link.
critical.
And it could be. It's on the line. It's online. And anyway,
I will mobilize
I'll
my
send
LinkedIn and
everybody
we
the
will
link.
all vote.
Yeah, like we'll
For
put
the
it.
mascot.
We're going to tweet this. Tony will tweet this.
Tweet it out.
So
We need
And there's a
somebody
deadline.
to vote
We
on
need
this.
the Women's World's mascot voted as a human name.
I
okay.
don't
In the
quite
meantime,
understand why,
while
but
they
we
count
do.
the votes and recount the votes,
Okay.
December 11th through the 15th. That's next week or so. The Six Nations tournament will take place. United States is taking part in this for the first time this year. We've got an all-college roster for this tournament. 4 Minnesotans are on it. Rory Gilday.
Nice.
Let's see, Emma Peschel,
Nice.
Peyton Hemp.
Nice.
And there's a fourth one. She's in here. Sloan Matthews.
The nicest.
So anyway, this is an entirely college roster. I know we've talked a little bit about that, like pulling rosters during the season, but I heard other women's hockey journalists podcasting about this a little bit today. And so it sounds like the collective is happy about some options for these women between their U18 and senior national team, placements, and that this is nice that the United States is deciding to get into this. Was this a Four Nations Cup prior? And now it's a Six Nations tournament? That's
a really good question.
I believe this was the Four Nations Cup that I couldn't find any more information on, and it's now the Six Nations tournament. So
featuring the U.S., Canada, Czechia, Finland, Switzerland, and Sweden. Anytime, I'm a huge fan of international competition because I think it just brings so much more exposure than a University of Minnesota UMD weekend series. To be able to send players to play against Canada's best and Czechia's best and Sweden's best and Finland's best, and I'd say Switzerland's best, but I don't think they have a shot to medal. So I think this is huge for women's hockey. For a sport that is still scratching and clawing to be seen on a world stage, this is huge. So I'm glad that they are taking some time away from their college programs. I'm sure the college coaches aren't,
that's
thrilled,
the thing. It's like sometimes it makes sense, sometimes maybe it doesn't.
Sacrifice for the greater good here.
And in this case, so the United States and Canada are the only two countries that are exclusively taking college eligible players, and the remaining 4 teams will use their full women's national teams.
Okay.
Interestingly, I believe the Ottawa Charge have like 5 or 6 Czechian national players on their roster.
Okay.
So I wonder how that'll look for Ottawa. They're number 1 in the PW right now. While they're, is there some sort of break between 11-15? We'll look into that and report on it before our next episode's over. Anyway, so that's and also I wanted to note Minnesota connection, Allie Altman from Egan. She's the U.S. national team goalie coach, so she's traveling with that team as well. And she may be able to join us on the 18th to tell us about how that trip went.
Just a maybe, huh?
I texted her today, and we're going to touch base close to, because she will have just gotten home. And so potentially we could record on a different day, but I'll keep you guys posted, and then we'll let the viewers know.
Perfect.
Other listeners. All right. What else? I think that's
I think we got everything.
I think we for the first week out of 7 actually covered all the D1, D3, PW.
We've hit every level.
USA.
We've labeled Jossie a Horcrux. We've made our plea for free swag from a program. I think we've hit every base today.
I can't believe I told everybody about
being a Horcrux.
Is that what we called me for the thing about the thing?
Voldemort is going to be so mad at you.
Anyway, well, like I said, once we figure out the antidote, it should be...
We'll come to the locker room and perform an exorcism.
There are no exorcisms in Harry Potter.
A lockercism?
A lockercism?
You have to destroy a Horcrux.
So we have to kill Jossie.
What's the final boss?
We will perform our ritual of killing Jossie in the
add that to the tweet with the pod link. We're going to kill
Jossie. Add that to the to-do
Jossie.
list is what I thought you were going to.
And you know what, St. Thomas, once this happens, watch out. Minnesota's going to be on fire.
That's what's most important, is that Minnesota gets back on track.
Not Jossie's life.
Oh, I'll sacrifice. I'm coming back. I mean...
You're coming back.
You would be the worst ghost, dude. You'd be the worst ghost. You wouldn't be evil enough to force me from the house, but you would just always be around.
Well, here's the worst part.
Making a lot of talking.
I think I probably reincarnate, and then I'm so ADHD that I spend my whole new life just trying to figure out what happened in my last life. It's like such a waste of time.
I think that's a good place to cut us all
guys,
off.
Follow us on our socials.
Every social, at Youth Hockey Hub on Twitter, X, at Youth Hockey Hub. No, it's Tony Scott YHH.
We're on Facebook too, and TikTok. I didn't even know.
_hub.
What's our TikTok?
Youth Hockey Hub.
Hell yeah.
We're all over the
youth
place.
hockey.
You can find us everywhere.
There's no way around.